Concerns are being raised about conditions at federally mandated quarantine hotels. The hotels were part of the government's plan to reduce travel and the transmission of variants, but people are questioning their safety. With more on this, I want to bring in Cristina Teixeira. She's an Ontario resident who stayed at a quarantine hotel after returning from her father's funeral in Portugal. Cristina, good morning. Glad you could be with us. Our condolences for the loss of your dad. I actually want to ask you about that and the fact that you were grieving and then you have to go to a hotel to quarantine. Did you think that you should be exempt for that?
Well, thank you, Mercy, for having me on, and thank you for the condolences. With all this, we've really yet to grieve his loss and everything that we've been through. So we were fully expecting to do the quarantine in a hotel as per the mandated stay or guide. We tried for days while we were away, while dealing with all of this. We tried for days, for hours, to try and get through to on that line that was given to book a hotel. We couldn't. We just couldn't. So when we arrived, we knew that we would eventually go and try to have to book a hotel. However, before we left, we were told by Health Canada that there was an exemption under compassionate reasons that we could apply for. So we applied on this form, but this form is meant for non-Canadian residents coming in to Canada for either a funeral or some sort of a health treatment, etc. They could bypass the hotel stay. So we applied for that. We received a response to say that we were Canadians. We did not need this form, so therefore the form was closed. My daughter further contacted them and asked, well, what can we do? We're going under the same compassionate reasons. This is not a holiday. This was not a pleasure trip. We had no choice. Not only was it to attend our father's funeral, it was to actually plan it. We had to literally put my father in refrigeration until we got there because there was nobody to take care of the actual funeral. So she sent an email off to the email that was given to her, and to this day we still haven't received anything. So when we arrived, we shunted over to this area where the public health officials were there. There was 2 people working because it was so late. And we were given a number to call. Even though we pleaded our case, we tried to say, we're going to go right to our quarantine home, do the 14 days as per the ArriveCAN app. We've stipulated all that. We had all the documentation. There was no way. We even spoke to the girl's manager on the phone, and she said, if you do not go to the hotel, there is a fine between $3,700 to $750,000. We were under duress. We were tired. We couldn't fight anymore. It was just at the time, okay, fine, let's just do this. They gave us a number that went directly to the Crown Plaza Hotel because they knew that there was availability there. So we contacted them. They gave us a price for per night of $369, and a minimum stay was 3 days. And as per the public health official, she says, yeah, you must book a minimum of 3 days. We said, well, what if we get the results back earlier from the COVID test that we were going to take next? And she said, that's up to you to figure out. So wow. We went through the piece. We went through we did the COVID test. We waited for an hour and a half in the waiting area at the airport for the shuttle to come. Nobody showed up. Finally, the security manager came over after we had already called the hotel, and the security guard said, call the hotel. There's people here waiting to get there. Security manager came and told us, take a cab, take your own car, take an Uber. It doesn't matter. Just, get to the hotel because the shuttle's not coming. So then we jumped in a cab again. Not only are now we've gone through all these other extra steps and people and contact points, we're getting into a cab. We get to the hotel, get to the lobby, and when we go to check in, the manager there, or the people checking us in there, said your room stay is over $700 per night. And we said, wait a minute, you said $369 per night. And then they said, no, it's $719 per night. There's 3 of you. And it's a minimum of the 3 nights. And we said, well, fine, you know what? We're going to cancel it. We're just going to go home. They said, it doesn't matter. Your credit card is still going to be charged.
Oh, my goodness.
Yes, we had no choice. So exhausted, emotionally drained, physically drained. We said, okay, we'll deal with this in the morning. But we tried to plead. We tried to say to them, it doesn't make sense. They gave us a bag, a plastic bag with 3 veggie sandwiches. That's all they had left, and 3 bottles of water. No instructions. We weren't told about meals, about whether we could leave our room, move around. We were given nothing. They gave us our key and we made our way to our room, which is on a regular floor, a regular room. What you see in the news with the plastic hallways and the plastic walls, etc., that wasn't it. It was none of that. So we went our own way through elevators, through hallways, through lobbies, and there's people behind us also checking in. This was now 1:30 in the morning, Sunday morning. By 2 p.m. the next day, we received our COVID results. They were negative. We contacted the front desk and they said, well, no, you have to stay. They didn't even know what the rules were. We said, no, we don't. I just called public health and I confirmed that we are allowed to leave the room. So we want to settle our accounts. They said, too bad. Yeah, you're going to be charged for the 3 days. The original receipt that we got, which was the estimated receipt, was $3,945. Since then, my brother, who actually paid for it on his card, was actually charged on his card $3,450 some odd dollars. So he's been in contact with the hotel, with management and everything. The receipt that they sent him is different from what he was actually charged, and they are not providing any solution.
Okay.
So it was, aside from the gouging, aside from that, it's the actual contact points that we had along this trajectory were a lot more than if we were to just come straight home to quarantine.
And it sounds like along the way there was a total lack of humanity from the people that you were dealing with. So bottom line, because I'm up against the clock here, Cristina, what is your opinion of, what do you think about this measure to try to stop the transmission of the virus? What do you think about the whole thing?
It's not working. We walked through a lobby of over 40 people who had just landed in from another flight with their families and luggage. We had to walk through that lobby, and those people were all in the same area. So the whole premise behind less contact points to keep the spread local, it's not working. It's not working. It's not working. And then to add insult to injury, the hotels are allowed to put whatever price tag they want for no extra measures of safety, none. And they're not being trained properly. So this wasn't properly planned. It's not being properly executed. There's a miscommunication, there's a mistraining. And at the end of it all, the slap on the head and in the hand is in our pocketbook.
I'm really sorry that this happened. Yeah, this is just a horrible experience. And thank you for talking with us.
Thank you.
Cristina Teixeira, she is from Ontario, sharing her experience about that quarantine hotel. All the best. We're going to take a short break and be right back.